and beginning with Moses and all the prophets, he explained to them what was said in all the scriptures concerning himself.
Shalom, children. Today we are going to be taking a deeper look at this week's Torah portion to see where it speaks of Yeshua Ha'Mashiach. We are in the book of Shemot. The parashah this week is called Ki Tisa, which in Hebrew means when you take. Let's hear a summary of the parashat. Moshe is upon Mount Sinai, continuing to receive the Torah from Yahweh. He is instructed to tell the children of Israel to contribute half a shekel of silver each towards the sanctuary. Moshe is then given details regarding the making of the tabernacle's water basin, anointing oil, and incense. Two wise-hearted men, Bezalel and Aholiab, are chosen to lead the construction of the tabernacle. Adonai again commands the people to keep the Shabbat as an everlasting sign. He then gives Moshe 2 tablets made of stone, upon which he has written the 10 commandments. Moshe does not return when the people expected him to, and so they make a golden calf and worship it as Elohim. Adonai tells Moshe the people have quickly turned from the way. Adonai proposes to destroy the nation, but Moshe intercedes on their behalf. Moshe then descends from the mountain carrying the 2 tablets engraved with the 10 commandments. He sees the people dancing about their idol, throws down the tablets, breaking them. He then destroys the golden calf and those who instigated the worship of a false god. Moshe returns to Yahweh saying, "If you do not forgive them, blot me out from the book that you have written." Elohim forgives the people, but tells Moshe the effect of their sin will be felt for many generations. Moshe prepares a new set of stone tablets and once again ascends the mountain, where Adonai re-inscribes the covenant onto them. Whilst on the mountain, Adonai causes his glory to pass by Moshe, so that when he returns to the people, his face shines and he must cover it with a veil. Moshe only removes the veil to speak with Adonai, or to teach Elohim's law to the people. Yeshua said, "If you believed Moshe, you would believe me, because he wrote about me." So let's dig a bit deeper to see if we can find Yeshua in the scriptures. In the parashah this week, we learn how the people turn away from worshipping the true Elohim. They create for themselves their own God, to whom they give honor and praise. But before we are too quick to judge and declare, "I would never do such a thing," we need to take a look at ourselves and ask, have we ever agreed to do something, only to break our promise later on? You see, the scriptures tell us, all have sinned and fall short of the glory of Elohim. This is one of the reasons Adonai put in place the priesthood. The sacrifices they made covered the sins of the people in order for them to draw near to him. But this is only a temporary measure and cannot cover sin forever. So we may ask, what about in the kingdom to come? How will it be possible for us to draw near to Yahweh then? The priesthood acts like a shadow picture of Yeshua. The author of Hebrews wrote, "The law is only a shadow of the good things that are coming. For this reason, it can never make perfect those who draw near to worship. It is impossible for the blood of bulls and goats to take away sins. Therefore, when Mashiach came into the world, he said, "Here I am. It is written about me in the scroll. I have come to do your will, my Elohim." Shaul continued, "And by that will we have been made holy through the sacrifice of the body of Yeshua Ha'Mashiach. Day after day, every priest stands and performs his religious duties. Again and again he offers the same sacrifices, which can never take away sins. But when this priest had offered one sacrifice for all time for sins, he sat down at the right hand of Adonai." Children, Yeshua is our heavenly high priest who has entered the heavenly tabernacle. Incredibly, he is also the everlasting Pesach lamb. Knowing this helps us to understand a bit more what Yochanan meant when he wrote, "Adonai so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life." Now, let's explore and study some of the shadows of Messiah found in Tisa. Not that long ago, we read about the instructions for a faithful servant. Do you remember what they were? If, after 6 years, the servant loved his master, he was to have his ear brought to the door and pierced through. This imagery helped us to understand when we want to serve Elohim forever in the future kingdom, we must bring our ears to Yeshua the door and have them opened, ready to listen and obey his Torah. What is interesting in our parashat today, when the people saw Moshe was delayed in coming down from the mountain, they told Aharon, "Make us gods." And Aharon said to them, "Break off the golden earrings and bring them to me." He then received the gold from their hand and made a molded calf. They then said, "This is your God, O Israel, that brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim." Here we see a reverse of the faithful servant take place. The people lost their faith and so closed up their ears by removing their earrings. This resulted in them creating a new god for themselves to worship and praise. The people had broken the very first and second commandment. "You shall have no other Elohim before me," and "You shall not make for yourself an image to bow down to and worship." During Yeshua's ministry, he opened the ears of many who were deaf. He told his followers, "Blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear." Despite all the signs which he gave, there were those who chose to be blind to his miracles and deaf to his teachings. Let's now take a closer look at one of the items of the tabernacle's furniture, the washing basin. The basin, also known as the bronze laver, was situated in the courtyard. It stood between the altar and the set-apart place. Adonai had told Moshe the priests were to use the basin to wash their hands and their feet, lest they die. This would have helped remind the priest he was to use his hands to bless Yahweh and walk in the path of righteousness. We have learned in our studies that we are to be a nation of priests, so we may wonder, are we to wash ourselves too? And if so, What does this look like? Shaul wrote to the assembly in Ephesus, "Husbands, love your wives just as Messiah also loved the assembly and gave himself for her, that he might sanctify and cleanse her with the washing of water by the word." So we can begin to understand we are washed by the word. And as we have read before, Yeshua is the Word made flesh. During the last meal Yeshua shared with the disciples, he knelt down and began to wash their feet. Shimon Kipha told him, "Master, you shall never wash my feet." But Yeshua answered him, saying, "If I do not wash you, you have no part with me." From all of this, we can conclude Yeshua is the bronze laver, providing living water for us to cleanse in, before we can draw close to the sanctuary and the presence of Adonai. This is confirmed in the vision Yochanan had of Yeshua, and recorded for us in the book of Revelation. We read, "Then I turned to see the voice that spoke with me. His feet were like fine brass, and his voice as the sound of many waters." Here we have all the elements which speak of the bronze laver: feet, metal, and water. Children, we can learn from the examples given in Tisa today. During times of doubt and fear, we should not close our ears and stop listening to our Master Yeshua. No, we should Shema. This is an occasion for us to press into the way, walk the narrow path, and allow the crushing to make oil for our lamps. Well, children, that is the end of our study for today. So we will see you next time, when we search the scriptures together. Shalom.